So Zowie released a new monitor and it is crazy fast. This is the Zowie XL2586X Plus, and it is currently the fastest gaming monitor to have ever existed, rocking a full 600 Hz. Zowie is a staple in the esports scene, so this panel is aiming to take the crown as the de facto monitor for aspiring esports players. But going all in on speed has its compromises, and the question is, are those compromises worth it? For transparency, Zowie did send this panel out to me for review, but my thoughts and opinions are my own. If you are new around here, consider subscribing and ringing the bell, and then drop a comment down below with what your current monitor and PC setup is. I'd love to hear about it, but let's jump into the video. So this monitor has allocated all of its stat points into speed, and there are some major advantages to this, but there is also some drawbacks. The overall design of this 24-inch screen here is all business, and I'm guessing Zowie keeps using these massive bezels to prevent issues with backlight bleed that's often seen on other LCD screens, though they're not the most attractive things. It does come with rear-facing I/O for easy access and a headphone stand on the back. The stand here is actually one of the best that I've ever used. It has a really small footprint overall and has amazing range for its adjustability. I never felt like I needed to mount this thing. The real standout feature here though is definitely that refresh rate and speed, so let's talk about that speed. This thing is fast, like really fast. Out of the box, it's capable of running 600 Hz, and to put that into perspective, that is a 25% increase over the fastest OLED panels on the market right now, and a whopping 150% faster than your more standard 240 Hz panels that we've been seeing over the last few years. But does that speed make a difference? Well, yeah, it kind of does, but not in the way that you might immediately think. Even though on paper, a 25% increase over that 480 Hz sounds really large, it's actually only 0.41 milliseconds faster, but I will say it is noticeable. Now, the reason motion blur is a problem on monitors is because they don't display images the way that things actually move in real life. This might seem obvious, but they actually display still images almost like a flip book, just a really fast flip book. This is called sample and hold, and it is why even the fastest monitors can look blurry during motion. But on this panel, well, I've honestly never seen anything look this smooth. Even compared to my OLED that I typically daily drive, the motion clarity here is pretty insane. But even the fastest panels do still suffer from this hold time of individual images. And that is why Zowie also includes what they call DYAC. And this is Zowie's way of cutting down motion blur further by strobing the backlight. There's other technologies on the market that do this same thing, but essentially it tricks your brain into not perceiving that motion the same way that you typically would, and it creates a smoother image. But I would say on this particular panel being so fast, it's not really necessary since you're getting such a high refresh rate anyways. But I guess if you are playing a game where you're not able to hit those high frame rates, DYAC is there to smooth out the image, and it works very well. So this monitor has industry-leading speed and industry-leading motion clarity, but here's the thing. To hit 600 Hz, Zowie had to make some serious trade-offs. You may have noticed already in some of the footage, but viewing angles with TN, well, it's not that great. So off-axis viewing can start to cause colors to shift. Now, this doesn't translate into any kind of competitive disadvantage, and in general use when you're sitting straight on, it looks fine, but it does limit the overall quality of the experience when playing other types of titles. The biggest attractor for me though here is the resolution. It is 1080p, and 1080p on a 24-inch screen doesn't look terrible, but compared to other options, it's also not that great. The pixels per inch on this is about 92, and compared to a 27-inch 1440p, you get 108 pixels per inch, and on a 4K 32 like I daily drive, you get 138. Now, I have a very high-end system running an RTX 5090 and an AMD Ryzen 9800X 3D. Pretty much the most powerful gaming system you can build right now. And in a lot of games like Escape from Tarkov, I get the exact same FPS when I'm playing in 4K as I do in 1080p. And because this game is bound by the CPU, that means that lower resolution screen isn't really providing me any benefit in performance, and it's just overall hurting the overall experience. Now, if you have a system with weaker specs, then pushing high refresh rates at 1080p is a lot easier, but if you are also that person, spending this much on a monitor starts to look like maybe not the best value play. Now, in competitive titles, this is less of an issue as you can push these games to higher frame rates, but I think it is important to distinguish between motion clarity and overall picture clarity. And that is where this 1080p screen really starts to struggle. Objects do often look pixelated, like in this scene, and up close, things look okay, but when you start to try to identify targets from a distance, it's a bit more difficult. Compared to a 4K screen, well, it's just not even close. So before I give my conclusion, I want to go over a few things that I do really like about this panel and this offering from Zowie. And first is how well it just handles incoming light. This does have a matte screen, and compared to other matte screens, this does an exceptionally good job. And the blinders that you can attach to the side, I think are something that's really great, and I wish that I could put them on my other monitors. I also really like the puck that it comes with, and it allows you to set up different profiles to quickly swap depending on the game you are playing. So where does this leave us? Well, the conclusion is pretty straightforward. If you love playing Counter-Strike, Valorant, or Overwatch, and you want the most responsive experience that you can have with the best motion clarity, well, I think this is it. This is the best. But if you find yourself in the wider gaming audience playing a ton of different genres and using your monitor for other things like productivity, well, for the price, I think there are other options worth considering. This does come in at an eye-watering $999, so you will really need to consider the specific use case that you have and then make the decision on if this panel makes sense for you. If you made it to the end of this video, thank you so much for watching. Like and subscribe for more content like this. My name is Robbie, this has been EverTech, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye now.